Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to A Certain Point of View. It is Jake and Brian here. As you can see, we are missing one member, but don't worry. She will be in here in just a second. It's been a little bit of a crazy weekend for everybody out there, obviously being the 4th of July. Things happen, and sometimes people run a little bit late, so she's going to be popping in here in just a second. Brian, how you doing over there, man?
Doing good. Survived the weekend watching your pup, but
you did some very good friend duties for me and watched the famous Kylo Ren at this point. So
so lazy that right now and tired that he won't even get up on the bed.
Yeah, no, you might have, viewers, if you're listening, you might have been able to heard him, but he was just barking his head off at somebody. I don't know who, but it's not just going to be us two tonight. She has officially arrived. Miss Jill is here.
I'm here. Nope. Sorry.
No, you're good. It happens. It happens. No worries. No worries at all.
Got this whole new setup so I can get everything set up in and out, and then once you finally go to set it up, everything decides to go wrong. So.
Brandon makes a good point here, dude, at Action Guy Century Club. Good point.
I will say that I did take a picture doing a shot with Sean before I hopped on here.
There you go.
But I was running late anyway. I was literally on the freeway at 5:55. So
hello, Brian. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for everybody who's joining us tonight. So this is our third show in a row, and we've officially locked this spot in 6 p.m. Pacific time. Live every Sunday evening for the remaining future. Very, very excited about it. We've had some really cool hit shows in the past couple weeks. And it's interesting because for the first time in a while, we don't have a guest. It's just us three decompressing off the craziness that has happened and just kind of talking shit out. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Excited to not be stressing out. I am stressing out because it took me forever to get my lights set up. But but
you want to debut the background as perfect as you can.
And the background looked great. It does
look good.
And I was going to have something on the screen, and that didn't happen. So
no worries.
I got Ahsoka. I got my Tangled flower. Mushu somehow made it to my shelving. I got a Charmander up there in his shorts and my Star Wars study guide, and Yoda's still here and peeking.
I think it looks great. You had a really cool background, a very simple, cool background beforehand with Baby Yoda and the cool art pieces in the background. But I can never disagree with the addition of Ahsoka. Never disagree.
Wait, hold on. I'm missing the piece de resistance. Okay.
There it is.
There we go. Now we're set. Okay. Now it's like I never left. There we go.
What's up, guys? Thanks for joining.
Hey.
Hi, guys. They just finished theirs.
They did just finish theirs. And so, yes, very, very cool show, actually, even though it's just the three of us. Very, very cool show that we have tonight. Not only, as the thumbnail and the title says, we're going to be kind of previewing the singles tournament and talking about the players that we think each faction will be sending to that tournament outside of the ones that aren't officially announced at this point. We're obviously going to talk about the 3 matches that happened this week, but we also might as well talk about it at the very beginning. The elephant in the room here. We talked about it on our Twitter. It's kind of in the title of the show here. We have another announcement coming for the channel. And we're not going to reveal too much tonight.
You are the one that likes to tease.
No.
When we did
the Jill announcement,
give it away at this point.
Yeah.
When we did the Jill announcement, we steadily tease it throughout the week, right? We on a reaction on the main show, and we dropped hints throughout the week. We're not going to say anything more outside. I don't know if you guys want if you want to say exactly what it is, or if it's just that announcement is coming, because our next show is going to be Thursday evening. Is the Star Wars breakdown?
We don't have anything till Thursday.
We have a reaction, but because the reaction it won't be dropping until Thursday.
Oh, that's right.
That's going to be our first video of the week officially live. So I don't know if you should we say exactly what it is, not who or what or anything like that.
We can say I say we can say what it is, because I don't want people to think it's something and have it not be. And
I agree.
We can say
Brian?
what it is.
I don't know. I kind of want to want to tease it through Twitter.
Can I just say, I do appreciate anytime we have a conversation of anything, there's always one of us that's disagrees with everybody else.
You know what's funny about it? I feel like it's always Brian too. I feel like
Not
it's always Brian. Most of the time.
I'll say there's a good amount That's me, but you're up there too.
Well, I say we say what it is, because it's something very exciting, and it kind of slightly came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But we are going to have a new team member joining us. We have a new co-host, another new co-host joining us. A fourth member of that. That's all I'm going to say. A fourth member of POV will be joining us, and you will be able to see that person on next Sunday's show. That'll be their first official show.
Sunday or Thursdays?
It's going to be Sunday. Sunday is the official reveal of Sunday of the new co-host. So look out for that. Again, just like we did with the Jill announcement, we'll kind of be doing slight teases through the week on Twitter. Have a little fun with it. But you'll be able to see that person officially joining us on Sunday's show. And we are extremely excited about this person joining us.
I will say it's not Sean. Let's just get that out of the way right now.
Yeah. Let's get that one out of the way. That's true.
That's
very, very true.
Or is it Sean?
Or is it Sean?
It sure wouldn't be that much more difficult if it
I
was
literally
Sean.
just have to shout out the door and be like, "Hey, get in here," and then easy peasy.
Yeah.
So look out for that in the coming weekend. Like I said, next Sunday you'll be able to see that person on the show with us. But for now, it'll just be the three of us, and we're going to be talking some Schmoedown here. We have three really cool matches to talk about. It was a big week in Schmoedown, obviously. We talked about the Star Wars one at length on our Thursday breakdown. We can kind of discuss a little bit here and start that one off here, just talking about Laura Kelly versus Andres Cabrera. Obviously, a big surprise, as we mentioned on our show last Thursday. And we didn't give Ace enough credit to what he was capable of. We figured that anybody going up against Laura, it felt like they were destined to lose with how she was going. And, we had mentioned it multiple times on that show, but Ace just showed up in multiple different ways and proved that he is better than just a first round matchup or a play-in match like he was given as well. And it's exciting because it's really the first Cinderella story we've seen this year. And it all comes down this week against Dimolanta. So kudos to Ace and Winston as well. Obviously big for them, but such a great Star Wars match for semifinals matchup.
And it's not one, I don't think anyone predicted this. I didn't predict this. I don't know anyone. I don't know any bracket who has remained safe throughout the entirety of this tournament.
So far.
I would say that's definitely contender for upset of the year for sure. And not to discredit Ace because he played a perfect game and
literally.
And Laura missed, that was the one question she missed the whole tournament by 1 year. And
like she wrote down the answer.
She had the right answer, and she and I've said it before with Star Wars, it's that one question and that can be game. And oh man, that was such a fun match to watch though. And I am really, really excited for Wednesday's match. I'm stressing out about Wednesday's match.
So much.
Big time.
So we'll see what happens. I think I'm pulling Dimolanta on this one, but I know, and I don't.
Is that based on who you think is going to win or who you want to win? Because that's big. That's a big difference.
Yeah, this is surprising.
That's a big difference. And see, now you're making me second guess myself here.
I'll say mine while you think. I'm done picking against Ace because
and I know
every single time I've picked against him, except for Quevedo, I did pick him in that one. He's won. So it's like at this point, I'm like, all right, I'm done. You'll get my vote. You're gonna get it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that's and the way he played, the way he just pulled that parking violation like that.
Yeah.
And was so confident in it, that means I know for a fact he is studying those deep cut questions and he knows those deep cut questions.
Yeah.
So does Dimolanta though. Dimolanta studies like a madman. And he's been studying, I think, nonstop since his loss with Laura Kelly. And so it's... I love the Cinderella storyline with Ace.
Yeah.
I
It's tough. I mean,
It's tough.
It really is when you think of it. And I said this when Dimlanta and Molly played. I do think I'm really confident at this point that something is going to happen during the match that might make Dimlanta slip. Like there was the tease of a slipping in the Molly match, right? Where they had the challenge where he kind of got flustered there for a second, but he reeled it back in. I do feel like it being a 5-round match. Everything is on the line at this point.
I keep forgetting it's
5. Me too. I keep forgetting it's a 5-round match.
Something might come up in this match. And we saw it last week when Ace played. Something happened, but he was so cool, calm, collected. It didn't bother him. He's such like a free spirit, right?
Yeah.
Nothing really gets to him. Mm-hmm. And it's proven in 3 matches so far. I mean, he's 3-0. Multiple times where there's been issues in a match where he's had to kind of either question or challenge or something like that. And on the flip side of that, we've seen it once against Dimlanta, and so far it looks like he had struggled with when that happened. I think the addition of it being a 5-round match, thinking of the speed round, thinking of the betting round, everything that's going to be happening, I do think that it's going to play in Ace's favor at that point.
It's going to come down to some Jedi mind tricks for sure. It's
nice.
going to come down to, it's going to, thank you. It's going to be one of those where I don't think it's going to be, they slip up on a question. It's going to be something gets into someone's head that's going to make them kind of go off the mental track to where they lose their focus.
It could be as something as simple as the Laura situation where she erased the correct answer and then wrote down, like it could be as simple as a second guessing, because right now the 2 people outside of Scrimshaw who missed the OT question, Ace and Dimlanta have both gone perfect. Yeah. They have both, like, we could see that type of match again where it could be a Laura Ace situation again where someone misses the one question and they bet the same amount of points. They both do well in the speed round because it's not technically against each other. Like it could be very, very interesting with all these variables now in that 5-round match.
That betting round is gonna be, I think, the deciding point.
Yeah.
Who risks it the most?
Yeah.
And knowing both of these players, not knowing them like personally, but seeing how they would not be surprised if both of them pick 3 points. Would not be surprised at all.
If they're both with probably the same amount of points at that betting, I don't see them going less than 3 because they both seem like the type of people that would shoot high and try to see.
The wheel is always in play. The wheel is
definitely all in play, but I think it's going to be betting and speed round.
Now, with this being a 5-rounder, is there going to be spinners and opponent's choice on the wheel?
I don't think there will be.
I don't think there will, just because they're.
But then again, what other categories that aren't on the wheel can take those places? Are there 2 more categories that aren't typically on the wheel, like the vehicle and weapons?
On the wheel.
Would they put something like Star Wars Underworld on the wheel?
They could.
We've never seen that on the wheel. Could that be on the wheel? That's interesting.
Or they could do planets and.
That's correct as well. Yeah.
So
is there a who said it? Is there a who said it? So that could be on the wheel too.
I believe there is a who said it. Yeah.
I think the wheel is going to stay exactly the same. Personally,
I hope it doesn't. For a match like this, I want it to be more. I want an opponent's choice on the wheel.
So do I. It adds for such more of a fun game.
Yeah. Because for this match, I really want to see gameplay. And if there is spinners and opponent's choice on the wheel, gameplay is going to play such a big role in this match.
I don't know if I'd want it because I don't want to hear someone say, we've never had opponent's choice on the wheel. And then now you're going to do it in the championship.
And it's the championship. Buckle up, Buttercup. It's the championship. If you can't handle opponent's choice, then you shouldn't be in the Star Wars tournament.
I do think, and this could be a conversation for another day, but I do like the idea of the league solidifying a spinners and opponent's choice in every match outside of an actual belt match where the title contender can decide yes or no to keep them on. Yeah. I do like that just because it adds just a level playing field through all matches except for that belt match, because you have to give a slight advantage to the person who's been holding the belt, and that could be that little bit of an advantage when they face that player.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll see.
So yeah, it'll be very interesting. I mean, it's going to be massive. It's going to be huge. Our breakdown, it's not going to be on Wednesday evening. It's going to be on Thursday evening. It's where they've been living. A couple other shows, they lock in that Wednesday time. So we're going to make sure everybody gets the love. And so our Star Wars breakdown will be on Thursday. And we are going to be joined by Molly Damon on that one. I will also say that I'm like a 95% positive that Alora Kelly might also be joining us as well.
Yeah.
And so you might be able to see her on that with us, but Molly is for sure a lock on that one. So check that out on Thursday. For now, let's go and get to these IG matches. These IG matches, two very, very, very good matches. And it's interesting because two of the players were play-in players, right? They were players that weren't officially in the bracket to begin with. They stepped their game up. They won those play-in matches. That's both Ben Goddard and Greg Alba. Let's talk about the Kalinowski Alba match first. We talked about it a little bit in our reaction. And thank you to Greg and the Real Rejects for giving us some love on YouTube and Twitter. That was great.
Thanks,
that was
guys.
awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because we had talked about it beforehand. So many people were just not counting on Greg playing as good as he did. And they so many people had said TKO KO.
Greg
TKO
counted
KO.
on Greg.
Yeah,
But that's
Greg
expected.
Play that well.
I mean, that's expected from Greg, right? I mean, we've seen that so many times with him. But I mean, down to the 5-point question. Kalinowski was losing with the 5-point question to go, and he ended up getting one in his bread house with DCEU. But I mean, he could really be a really good IG player with the way he's been playing, and it's so fun to see because he's different from the Parkers, the Smets, the Kalinowskis, right? He just brings such a different personality to the game. And it being such a quirky, geeky division, right, with IG could be very fun to see in the future. But, I mean, he took a 2-time champ to the wire, and it was really fun to see.
That match is the prime example of matches that I love to watch. They were both having a great time competing. They were, like, having so much fun. It wasn't someone getting a perfect game. It was head to head. Like, it was so much fun. And I loved seeing Greg realizing how well he was doing. And I really hope this match solidified that he's going to come back in IG because he was so fun to watch. And in IG, I feel like we need those competitors who are there to like, I don't want to use Makuga as an example, but kind of like a Josh Makuga
100%.
kind of personality.
100%.
Where it's like, when they're winning, they get so excited about it. But if they're losing, they're having a fun time anyway. So, and that's what I love to see. And I feel like Greg fits that mold so well. And it was so fun to see. And he was like, he said, when Kalinowski hit that 5-pointer, I fangirled about it. Like, he was so excited about it. I'm like, I loved seeing that. And seeing Mike back in the ring too.
Yeah.
I missed Kalinowski, man.
Yep. The league is better with him.
I miss seeing Kalinowski, and I'm so glad that he's back in IG because I was kind of afraid that he wasn't going to come back in IG. But now that he's here and he had a really great game, and I'm really excited to see what he does moving forward if he can keep that momentum up.
Yeah,
I mean, he got 27 points in his first match back in 6 months, and he didn't look as crisp as he usually does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think both of them turned out pretty well. I was bummed at the end that we're not going to see any more of Greg Alba.
I know.
I like him so much now at this point.
Not that I'm mad Kalinowski won, but Greg is just such just such a joy to watch. So is Mike, but I really want him to compete in IG.
Anytime you get more Real Rejects, it's just a better time.
It's a better time.
100%. They're currently our wild berries right now.
They're the wild berries. I was literally going to say,
Yeah.
I feel like people will be upset if they do a draft again next year.
Yeah.
If they get separated, it's going to be even more of like a panic.
Yeah. So, but it was a good match, fun time, and I mean, it was so funny because he was like cheering for Mike when he beat him.
I know.
Just like, it's like I loved it because it's just so funny. I mean, But and then I'll grab this, Jake. But this, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was going to bring up afterwards. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
That's something we got. Yeah. I mean, I'll throw it back up just quickly so we can read it. But
Okay.
yeah, this is something I wanted to bring up. The promo that they had shot, is the shadowy figure walking into the garage, pulling the boxes out, opening the golden book. Right. It looks great. I didn't realize that Mike had edited it. That's a cool little tidbit there. And the music was a great addition, obviously, just playing into the IG factor, but it's a great way to bring him back into the fold. And it's interesting because that kind of promo, in my opinion, also adds to that Mike might be a little bit of a different player this time around.
100%.
Because he also played that way. And we had talked about it might be the virtual situation, right? It's hard to get into that character 100% in your own home over a camera with nobody around you. But the promo says otherwise, because it's not really that villainous type of addition that you would expect from him, but it was really fun to see at the same time.
I'm getting anti-hero Kalinowski vibes, and I dig it.
Yeah, it could be fun. Like, and I think I mentioned it, but like a Punisher vibe, right?
Oh,
where he works with the good guys, but he's gonna kill the bad guys.
Yep.
I
loved it.
Go ahead. Oh no,
Okay.
It's funny because like I know like we obviously have our like schmo down personas and then our like real life, but like his like I don't want to say cockiness because that sounds kind of rude, but
it's a cocky confident. That's like the best.
His confidence that he knows he's gonna still do well in IG, so he doesn't have to like talk crap heavily like he did in the past. Mm-hmm. He's just gonna let himself do the talking when he plays, and he's one of those ones that like hate him or love him, you always want to see him in IG stuff. Just 100%. Either so you could root for him or root against him. You just want him there. So yeah,
100%. 100%.
He was completely a different player. He even said when he got that Who Said It for Lord of the Rings, old Mike would have flexed and tried to say exactly what was said, and he probably would have gotten it wrong. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to play smart. I'm going to use the multiple choice. And it played off for him. And I don't know if it's because it's not in studio anymore. It's just from home. But he seemed so chill and so relaxed. And I totally dug it. The chemistry. It's those dang quarantine beards, man.
Yeah, all these quarantine beards.
But the chemistry too between Greg and Mike during the match was so fun.
Yes.
But also shout out to Coy Jandrew for even putting Greg Alba in IG in the first place.
Yeah.
Because now we found a new IG star out of that. So good job, Coy.
I agree. I don't think there's any way, if it's Coy next year or another manager, Greg's stock just went high up. And that kind of goes to your point, Jill, about breaking up the Real Rejects. At this point, both of their stocks is very high because Humphrey, he showed up in the first round as well. We'll see how he does in his match coming up, but there is a high possibility that if this all happens again next year, the Real Rejects do get broken up just because of this tournament, because of how well they've been doing.
For me, one last thing, I'm loving hearing the managers talk. Mm-hmm. And Coy is for one of the best, I think. He is so good at like dissecting, like, okay, there's da-da-da amount of DC movies versus da-da-da, and it's just like a good confidence booster to throw at your players. And we haven't seen him that much, but when we do, he's a really good manager, I think. I mean, they all are, but like I've been like really impressed when he does his little like in games, like, okay, you have this, da-da-da. He's like breaking it down, and then the person just literally just has to pick like what he.
I think the next step, obviously there's a couple steps for the Schmodown, right? But I think one of the next steps as far as game situations would be to, in between those rounds where the managers can talk to their players, you mic them up. You mic them up so we can hear that just in those situations whether it's a microphone or just like a little, microphone that's hanging down from him. But that adds that, like, we go for that WWE sports element,
It's
right?
like
That would
mics
play
in the
so
bullpen.
well.
It's like having mics in the bullpen. It's you
Exactly.
hear the managers talking to the players, and yeah.
It reminds me of like when they show like previous football games when they mic them and then they're in their huddles and the coach is like, get the ball or something like that. And you're just like, that's dope. Like, you know how they're hyping them up and stuff.
I hope when we go into studio, it's not only that we mic the managers. I hope we get like a manager cam.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, just put them in like in a corner together so you can see what it looks like the entire time.
Yeah,
agreed.
So Kalinowski obviously takes the victory on this one. That puts him up against Mr. Eric Zipper, which will happen next Friday. So the dungeon versus corruption. Obviously, we know Zipper has a little bit of a vendetta with Kalinowski in a situation with corruption a few years ago. I don't think Zipper is a rollover. Obviously, after his first match, he got opponent's choice. He was given Lord of the Rings, and then he just throws the gauntlet down and destroys that category in round 2. I think it'll definitely be a little bit of a fun match. Again, there obviously is probably a little bit of fireworks between the two of them, but I'm going to take Kalinowski because I feel like now that he has that warm-up game in him, he might show off a little bit in this game.
Yeah, it's because I am such a dungeon fan. But I
refuse to pick. I like them both.
And I do too. And Eric knows how much I love him, and I don't. And people are saying that again, this is going to be a TKO KO by Mike. I don't think it's going to be that because I know how much work Zipper puts in. He's got Smets in his corner. He has Parker in his corner. He has arguably the best quote unquote IG heavy faction helping him with his studying. So I think it's definitely going to go round 3. I don't think it's going to be a KO TKO, but I got to give it to Mike on this one. And I think it's solely because of Zipper's confidence might get to him. I think he might overthink going, I'm playing Mike Kalinowski. I hope not because I really want to see Zipper do well. That would be amazing. That would be so cool.
I mean, anytime there's an upset like that, that's for sure.
But I think I'm gonna go Kalinowski on this one.
Brian, you gotta pick somebody.
No, I think that there is gonna. I personally, I don't think there's gonna be any more. I have a hard time thinking there's going to be any more KOs or TKOs throughout the rest.
I think it's all going to be three rounders for sure. I agree. I agree.
I honestly don't. The way the people that are left, the people that are left, I don't see that happening anymore. Any of them. I think it's from this point on, it's going to be knockdown, drag out, and that's what I'm excited to see because I mean TKOs are cool and KOs are cool, but like if you're going all the way to that 5-pointer, like Mike's and Greg, where you're literally holding your breath, like crap, he needs to hit this or blah 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 blah, and I think that's going to end up happening pretty much every single game from here on out. So
I agree. All right, one quick question, a big question before we move on here. BCD here. Beard of Quarantine. We have Brandon, Sean, Coy, and Mike. Who are you guys picking? Obviously, we know who Jill's picking.
You're missing someone. You're missing Adam Witt.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry, BCD. If Adam Witt's in this, I'm picking Adam Witt.
Adam Witt from his beard on Thursday's show was prime.
It's beautiful. I'm going to go with Sean, obviously. Sean has the best beard. But Adam Witt's beard, I hope he keeps it forever because it is so cool.
I would agree.
Like snow.
Out of the five, I'd probably pick Adam. But Kalinowski's beard is good, man. It's good.
It's not bad.
It's good.
I never thought I would see Kalinowski with a beard. I always just thought I'd see him as like this like clean shaven, like beards are
Coy's turning into an Oliver Queen. Directly from the comic.
That's what Jill said. Yeah.
Literally looks like Oliver Queen.
Yeah, I like Hannah's beard's turning him into like the bad, like that villain, that dastardly villain. And I can't say dastardly actually because that's
That's true.
your guy's word. So
Well, not anymore.
Oh right, he's the
Not
I
debonair.
know, but still,
He's
every time you
debonair,
hear
yeah.
dastardly, you think of
That's true. That's true.
So
Okay, so the next IG match that happened dropped on Friday, and real quick, I know Brian asked here.
Brian and Leo.
Where's the reaction to Friday's match? It was a busy weekend. It's 4th of July. I was gone on Friday. Jill had a watch along to do on Friday. And I don't know if Brian would have wanted to do it himself.
I would have done it myself.
Okay. Well, now we know in the future.
On video, it was wonderful. It's great.
It would have just been me playing against myself, and I probably still would have lost.
I
you might see a play along later on. We might just sit down and hang out and do that since we did miss it. But that's the reason why. It's just a busy weekend, holiday weekend. It's hard to do that on a Friday, especially with things going on. But let's break it down. So we have Mr. Robert Parker, the chosen one, if you will, the golden boy, up against Ben Goddard, another play-in victor for the Den, taking on the Dungeon here. Again, Ben Goddard is not at this point, even though he's a rookie. He's got matches under his belt. I know a lot of people give him crap sometimes, but he just continues to show up in multiple ways, right?
Who's
he perseveres.
giving him crap?
Well, just people online sometimes, as far as a player,
I just want to give everybody crap.
Yeah, it just happens. It just
I'm
happens.
sorry if you come in 4-0 across 3 different leagues.
I know.
Yeah, I agree.
you don't deserve any crap.
I agree. But I will say during this match, I think we saw the first time for Ben Goddard, a little bit of a flustered Ben Goddard, and multiple things happened during the match, right? And Leo makes the first thing that really kind of happened was the caw, right?
I literally just
Mark
every
Alec.
time I saw that, I saw it when I saw Leo put out, it just heard in my head him going, caw.
Yeah. And I get where Ben's coming from in this situation, but it being like this happens even in studios, right? And you may not be able to hear it as much as you would over a StreamYard because you have the headphones in and everything. But you can tell that it was kind of a little bit of a flustering thing because it did get brought up later in round 1 too. I don't know if it resulted in the result of the match, but you can tell that there was just a slight difference in Ben's play in this one compared to others.
He was upset. He was mad. I think more at himself, which is ridiculous because he did pretty freaking well. He went to the end.
I always give kudos to everyone who decides to stick with Star Wars.
Yeah, that's true.
I was texting Parker as we were watching it live, and I was texting him as we were watching it, and then I sent him a GIF, and I was like, "When you spun away from Star Wars," and I sent a boo, I do, and then of course, right after, Goddard picked it, and so I always give kudos to everyone who stays in Star Wars, especially because there's a Star Wars tournament right now. Did it go in his favor? He maybe could have spun a stronger category, but
probably
he could have also spun a worse category.
Exactly. So it's kudos to Ben for keeping Star Wars during a Star Wars tournament. But the caw thing. I don't think he was upset over Mark doing it. I think he was upset over him getting upset about it, if that makes sense, because when you going into Schmoedown, you know that whoever's behind the desk is going to be saying these jabs, these comedy bits, so it's one of those things that you just have to kind of tweak your brain into thinking of stuff as stuff is going in your ear.
I know how he feels because I hate hearing them talk when I'm trying to think. It is distracting when I'm playing against Jake, but I've kind of learned to just deal with it.
To be fair, I don't know if it's against the rules, but you can also just
that's true. It is true.
So it's a bummer.
Not challengeable. Not challengeable. It happens every question of every match. They make snarky comments and they go back and forth. That's what they do. But yes, so I mean, and like I said, I don't think it was a reason why the match ended up how it did. But you can tell that for the first time in his 5 official matches, things just kind of didn't go his way, right? He got a question where he completely blanked on the actor, and you knew as soon as that was answered, he knew right away what it was. And it just, I don't know what the situations were or anything like that, but you can see the chink in his armor a little bit from the Ben Goddard side, as well as the Robert Parker side. We haven't talked about him yet, but we get into round 2. He spins, he ends up going with DC, and the DC questions, first of all, were not very easy.
No.
There were some very difficult questions for DC, but we definitely saw a little bit of a different side of Parker, especially Goddard getting that steal that ended up kind of switching the gameplay a little bit before Parker ended up getting the steal on the first question of round 2 for him. So it was fun to see that back and forth, because a lot of people, again, Parker being the golden boy, saying that he's just going to roll through the league, answer all these questions correctly. That doesn't seem to be the case, because he is missing questions or going to multiple choice, thinking about things. And it only seems like that's going to become more as the tourney goes on, because questions might become a little bit more difficult, playing a little bit more bigger players. So it was fun to see that side of him in this match.
It's fun to realize that these people are human.
They can miss a freaking question.
They can miss a question every now and then. Does that at all change my opinion of Robert Parker because he missed a question? No. He's still, I still say, is this IG prodigy. And Parker's a beast, and then as someone from the den, it's like, oh, Goddard, and
I will say this. I will say this, and Leo makes a good point here. I'm going to put this on Kate. I will put this a little bit on Kate for allowing him to pick Star Wars.
She admitted it at the end. She's like, that was my bad.
Yeah, and there's always that chance that you spin something bad, obviously doing a second turn. But if you aren't 100% confident in that category, don't do it. Like, we've seen it multiple times. You kind of have to go with your gut. And if your gut is telling you no, or you're questioning yourself, then if it was me, I would spin away instantly and take the chance on getting something, because you were telling yourself, there was a slight bit of yourself telling you, no, don't do this category. And to me, coming from the athletic side, the second that happens, I'm out. Like, you have to move away and do something different.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you never know what you're going to get. So,
and I'm totally one of those people that I never blame the managers when it comes to that, because at the end of the day, it's the competitor who chooses if they take it.
It's a good point. It's very true.
But the managers definitely should talk to the competitor and go, we can keep it, but there's also this. Is there any slice that you do not want, or that is, and like do the statistics and be like, okay, so there's maybe one other slice, but there's also 10 other ones that we can get. That's going to be, so it's, I never want to say it's the managers, because at the end of the day, it's the player that decides. But managers definitely can have a sway in what the player decides. So it was just unfortunate.
It's how it goes. Mm-hmm. It sucks, but at the end of the day, it's how it goes, and sucks because the den's now out of players for Inner Geekdom, and Star Wars is pretty much over. But yeah, so they're at this point, teams are dropping out, and the den just happened to be the one for this week. So
yeah, and hopefully for the den, hopefully for the den. The singles tourney, obviously, which we'll be talking about here in a little bit, and then the teams tourney on the horizon puts them back on the fold a little bit. As far as the bracket for IG tourney, I have a graphic here. This is what it currently looks like. This is what it's going to be looking like going forward. So we got the Barbarian and John Humphrey on the left side, as well as Chance and Robert Parker, which is going to be a very fun match.
I thought there was
very fun match.
I'm going.
And then we have Mr. Brandon Hanna taking on Alex Damon. And Eric Zipper taking on Kalinowski, which we talked about here. 4 incredibly fun matches coming our way. I mean, 2 heavyweight matches in, Chance Ellison and Robert Parker. I feel like Brandon Hanna and Alex Damon could be a very, very good match as well.
That's going to be an interesting one.
That's a prime word for that. That's going to be an interesting match.
Yes. We've seen little of Barbarian at this point in IG, but as well as John Humphrey, and that match could be very interesting as well. I mean, we don't know what way that's going to go. And then obviously the vendetta that Zipper has up against Kalinowski, but IG tournament going strong, and with the Star Wars tournament ending this week, these are going to be some fun matches to watch. That's for
Oh
sure.
yes.
Yeah, a lot of it I think is going to really come down to that wheel round.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So we will be talking about that as the week goes on. As far as the standings go, Mr. Avellino, let's go and shoot to this before we get into our main topic for tonight. And I have the graphic here. This is as of recent for the Parker and Goddard match. Go on, read
Yes. As you can see, people are a moving. First place, Finstock Exchange still at 25. Swag is now at 19. We know that we still have those two Star Wars match. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Big match.
Third place, the Den at 15. They have no more matches, so they're going to either stay or fall.
Yeah.
Corruption is sitting there.
At least they have 15. It's not like it's 11
Yeah,
or 12. They
Dennis
have a good
are-
number.
At least they're not 8th with no more players.
Yeah, they do have a match at least ahead of someone, so that helps. Corruption sitting there in 4th place with 11 points. They still have Chance and Mike. The Dungeon has now jumped from last place, weren't they? No, second to last.
I think they were in 8th place. The usual suspects have stuck in last. Yeah.
The Dungeon is in 5th with 11 points, still with Zipper and Parker. 6th place, we have Burning Droogs with 9. They have just Hannah. 7th place, Corky Mercs with 9. They have John Humphrey. 8th place, Rockstars with 9 points. They have Alex Damon. And then the usual suspects sitting there in 9th place, and they have no one left. So they will be staying down there.
Yeah, and they're going to depend a lot on the teams in the singles tournament that are coming up. Yeah. But these two teams at the top, Finstock and Swag, battling out this week. We have matches of John Humphrey and Barbarian this week. So the Finstock Exchange could really add a lot this week if they go 2-0, which is obviously not good for the rest of the league because they already have a 6-point lead over everybody else. So we're crossing our fingers for the Quirky Mercs and Swag to really sweep up those points. That way everybody gets a shot at this. But it's going to be very interesting. These tournaments are really working out in the standings favors. We talked about it for so long. We wanted to switch it up and everything. And Corruption and Dungeon currently are making moves. Mm-hmm. And it's really playing out to be like that sports league style with the divisions and everything as far as points go. And it's really fun to see.
Yes, it is.
Indeed.
All right, let's go ahead and move into our main topic here tonight, and that is the singles bracket.
Just it.
Yeah, so we have the singles bracket prediction is essentially what we're calling it. And there's a couple other channels that are doing that as well. But there's been a number of names that have been announced so far, and so certain factions only have a certain amount of players left to add to the tournament. And we're just going to go through factions and discuss the players that we think are going to be popping up in this tournament and who possibly could make some moves in that tournament. But let's go and start with the Burning Droogs. The Burning Droogs here, officially announced.
Disclaimer, we may or may not have missed a person or a rule of this person can't compete or not.
And we'll get to
the names because I'm gonna need to see names. Okay.
You know what? I'll go and share it next to us. Let me go and pop this out. I can share the screen right here. I
should have written them all down, but I'm terrible.
You're good. They're right here. So let's go and start with Burning Droogs. Here we go. Burning Droogs. So as of the moment, Miss Bonnie Somerville is the only one confirmed to play in the singles tournament. She was the first name to be announced for the tournament. And so at this time, they have 3 spots left. Brian, I'll start with you. Who are your remaining 3 for right now, the manager list, Burning Droogs?
So right now, the manager list. So obviously Bonnie. My 3 are Whitney. Do I need to say last name? Winnie Seibold, Jader Paramo, and Alonso Duralde are my 3 choices.
Great point by here, Brian here. Will she show up? Great point.
Yeah, we never know. She's been talking some smack to people,
She has. I've
which
seen
I like to see. So yeah.
Wait, Brian, real quick. You said Alonzo, Whitney, and who else?
Jader.
All right, interesting. Jill, who do you got?
I'm pretty much on the same page, I think. I'm thinking Alonso. So Bonnie's in. Yeah, I'm thinking Alonso, Bonnie, Whitney. Or yeah, no, well, it really depends on I feel like my choices are gonna depend on if they do a teams tournament. Because I think Christian said that they have a way to do a teams tournament, which if that's the case, I might go Bonnie, Jader, Rebecca, and Scott. And have
see this is I'm kind of in the same boat. I think the singles is going to be very different for this team because they have a lot of players who can play. They do. They have a lot of players who can play. And I think Scott Mance is going to be one of them. But here's my wild card. I think JTE is going to play.
He can. They're doing
I think
it
JT. I'm gonna pick, and it's weird because I'm leaving Jader off of this, and I'm not. And I wasn't expecting that, but I'm picking Scott Mance, JTE, and Whitney Seibold. Those are the three that I'm choosing to go alongside Bonnie. I think Alonso is going to stick with teams. I think that's what he's best at, and him and Whitney obviously played well together in their match. And I don't know. It's going to be very interesting, but I do think that we might see an appearance from Mr. JTE, and it would be very fun to see.
I would like to see it. I would definitely like to see it because if there's going to be an appearance, it's going to be while they're doing it virtually, So
I agree with you, Leo.
For me, it depends if there is a teams tournament. If not, then I would not be surprised to see Alonso and Whitney in the singles. If there
No, I went off of that exactly. I went off as if there wasn't going to be a teams, and you're throwing your best people out there that you have. Because until I hear, I mean, you could say he said I think we may have found a way for teams. That's not we found a way for teams. I think we found is this might work, but it might not. So I mean, that's the way I.
And if there's not teams, then I'm 100%. I think with Brian, with Alonso, Whitney, Jader, and did you say Scott too? Oh, and Bonnie. So yeah,
and Bonnie. Yes, and Bonnie. Yes.
Also Bonnie, Jader, and Whitney. If there's not teams, if there is teams, I would totally change. But sure, I will go in here thinking that there is no teams tournament because there's completely different things I'm going to pull if there is a teams. But we'll go in here thinking that there's not, and I'll go Alonso, Bonnie, Jader, and Whitney.
All right, let's go ahead and shift gears to the Den, and this one is also very interesting. A number of players who can play. I'll say this. Tom and Paul, obviously a lock, right? Those two players are a lock, right? They're obviously a team, but singles, it's easy. The other two players, it could be a toss-up, right? Ben Goddard could obviously be thrown in there. He's been proven, but I don't think he'll
been confirmed for the Den.
No, nobody's been confirmed for the Den so far. Excuse me, Rachel Silvestrini has been confirmed.
I was going to say
Rachel was confirmed. Yes. So Rachel was confirmed. So she is the lock for the Den at this point. So we have 3 spots left. Tom and Paul, to me, are a lock, which means there's one more spot, and that could go up between 3 people. Ben Goddard,
I think
James
it's kind
White,
of already been announced.
And Vanessa Fitzsimmons, who was announced for the Den.
It's not like they haven't really posted it, but it's from what I've seen on Twitter, it's made its rounds that it's James White.
And that's what I was going to say is more than likely being the second round pick.
Second.
Being the second round pick, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. So if we're all in agreement here, it's Tom, Paul, Rachel, and James White.
Yeah. And Sean Sullivan. I'm just kidding. No.
The only reason why I think I know of the James is because Abby's been saying, I can't wait to see James White win his first round match. And he's like, you're damn right.
Fair enough.
So are we on Tom, Paul, James, and so who? Okay.
And Rachel.
Rachel is a lock.
Rachel's a lock.
She's confirmed. So there's 3 more spots. So James, Tom, and Paul. I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's who I. Although Vanessa was literally picked up, and where else?
That's what. To be honest, that's what I thought as well.
Yeah. To be honest, if I had to switch one, it would probably be Paul for Vanessa. If I had to pick one.
I would say Tom for Vanessa. I would say
Tom for Vanessa.
I would say Tom for Vanessa because Paul has been proven in singles by himself. Tom hasn't.
Yeah.
Tom hasn't had sing. Has he had? I feel like he's had one.
I think he played once and he lost, if I'm not mistaken.
Harry, I can look for you while you talk.
Yeah,
Hey.
not
You
sure.
can move on to the
Okay, so let's go and switch to the dungeon here on the right side. Another very interesting setup here because obviously we have for them their first two picks were Smets and Parker, both IG players, and this could really go a lot of different ways for them. Owen Mugen has been shown in a teams. Not really sure how he does in a singles. We've seen Brittany.
Teammate.
Say it again.
He's Drew's teammate. He's Video Drew's teammate. Owen Mugen.
No, that's Rick Hong.
That's Rick Hong. Yeah, it was Vinny and Owen. Vinny and Owen were the teams. The Butcher Boys. The Butcher Boys.
I love that.
So for myself, I feel like Andres Gallegos is going to be one of them because he was picked up for them. He was the free agent choice for the dungeon.
Who?
I think Drew will play as well. And it's hard because I really want to say that Adam might play, but I don't think he will after playing in the Star Wars tournament. And I don't know what Brittany Young's schedule looks like because we've seen her in singles before. So I'm just going to go with Owen and Vinny on this one because we've seen them in teams and they seem
Tom has never played a singles match.
Tom's never played singles. I swear he has.
All right,
he's 2 and 3 in teams, and that's it.
Got it.
All right. So yeah, I'm going to say Andres, Drew, Owen, and Vinny are going to be the four choices for the dungeon.
I put.
Oh, you know what? I forgot one.
Wait, you have to go back. I'm picking.
I forgot
Zipper.
One. Yep.
Owen Mugen.
I skipped right over his name.
Yeah, I'm picking Eric Zipper, Owen Mugen, Vinny Mancusa, and Video Drew.
That's what I would. I'm going with Brian. I skipped right over Zipper. Right over Zipper.
I'm gonna go. Remind me who Andres is.
He was a fan. He's a friend of Nerd Chronic. He was a free agent pickup for the dungeon.
Got it.
Okay. While you're picking, this is what he loves, Vinny.
I love Vinny, which is why
anytime he can say Vinny, the ice pick, he says it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, Vinny's a writer too. He writes for Collider, so it just makes sense to put him in singles.
I'm gonna go Vinny and Owen. Zipper. And I'm gonna go Andres. Those are
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Drew is a singles player or just a teams player. She does so well in teams. I wonder if singles would even like entice her, you know?
That
she's been talking more how she wants to manage.
Ooh.
So
interesting.
I've seen on her streams and from the interview she's done, she's talked about how she would like to be a manager.
Interesting. I would love to see that.
So I would love to see that. Oh my god.
That'd be so
I
fun.
agree with you, Jill, because those two were the ones I was going back and forth between.
Yeah. Although I would also see like what they said on our stream, a team of Video Drew and Janine the Machine, which would be
yeah, that'd be great.
Video Machine
would be great.
The Video Machine.
Okay, so let's go and switch to the FinZoc Exchange. This is where it gets a little difficult here because we don't know at the moment what it looks like for someone like number one contenders playing. And we obviously know that Dan Murrow has the belt, so he's not going to be playing because they're all going to be going to him. But let's say that number one contenders can't play. That leaves out both John Roca and Ben Bateman. Now, right now at this time,
that Bateman's not in.
Yeah.
Right?
Is it confirmed?
It's pretty.
I swear I read it somewhere.
Okay.
It's pretty much a done deal.
And so at this point, Mark Riley is the only one confirmed for this tournament.
Yep.
He was brought up last week. He was confirmed. And so adding to this list, and I'm right now, I'm just going to say without the additions of number one contenders not being able to play, I'll throw in John Roca because a singles tournament without John Roca just doesn't make sense. Obviously, it seems like he would be in there would make sense. I'm going to throw Sabrina Ramirez in there as well because I feel like her being the hot commodity for free agency, it would make sense. And obviously the Barbarian, right? The Barbarian's got to be in this tournament.
Yeah. That's mine was Barbarian, Sabrina, Roca, and Riley were mine as well. So
yeah, I'm going Barbarian, Sabrina, Riley, and I'm switching between Roka and Gray Drake.
See, and if Roka can't play, if he can't
Yeah.
play, I will substitute for Gray Drake as well.
Yeah.
Because I
I
want to see your back.
I'd see Roka if
So do I. I love her.
But if he can't compete, I want to see Gray Drake.
Yeah, I
That would
agree.
be my choice.
Did you see Taken of? If I'm saying your name wrong, I apologize. Tyken of the Source. If that's
Sorry,
true,
Jill, you're all blocked there.
Oh, you're good. Hi.
if
still
that's
here.
true, which I don't see why it wouldn't be, that's impressive because I did not know that.
What's up, Keith?
88% is pretty high. Hi, Keith.
What's up, buddy?
Hi.
Leo's got Riley, Barbarian, Sabrina, and Roka. If he loses to Irwin,
Would that decide it if in the Roka Irwin match? Would that decide if he plays in the tournament or not?
if he loses, that could Christian could give the okay to be like, yeah, he can be in the singles tournament. That might be interesting. Sabrina, Riley, Barbarian, and Cody. Interesting.
Yeah.
Craig, Cody, Sabrina, and take their chance in the singles along with Riley, and then
That's what I'm kind of honestly. Even though with some of these, it doesn't seem like I might be picking them. With this tournament, I really want it to be the people who we haven't seen.
I agree.
So I don't want to see the Horsemen. I don't want to see former champions. I want to see like the people we haven't seen at all, or the people we haven't seen compete in years.
Barbarian, Grayley, Riley, and Sabrina. There's
I
two
would
people.
not mind that.
There's
this
two
one.
people we haven't seen. Gray we haven't seen in a while. Obviously, Sabrina we've never seen. Barbarian is a newer player, and then you have the veteran with Riley. It's a good little combo there.
I like that. I think that's a really good combo of like the people we've never seen, the former champion, the Barbarian's a rookie, the rookie who we have seen, who is,
and he's only been seen in one singles match too, just one singles match.
That's it.
Yeah, just the one. All right, let's switch gears to corruption here. Very interesting combos that you can throw into this this tournament for Miss Shannon Barney. Brian, who do you got for corruption's team here?
Well, we know Adam Collins is in it because he's confirmed.
Yep, you are correct.
That one is. I don't see why you don't put Mike. I don't see why you don't put Chance. If you're trying to win, you push those rookies to the side if you have those two people. And then my last one is I'm actually going to go with Claudia Dolph because I like her
very
too.
Well too.
She did play very well, and she was someone that got passed team to team to team to team and hasn't really gotten that like really good shot. And I feel like if she's working along those three, well, I mean, anytime you're working with Mike and Chance, who are just forces, it's only going to make you better. So I'm curious about that. This team was the most hard for me to pick because they have the most people that you have no idea who they are, haven't played a match, or had one match that wasn't fantastic. Oh, did she perform better than Klee? Or Klee did perform better? See, I wasn't sure about that. Sorry, I was reading the comment.
Yeah, I feel like Claudia played a little bit better than Klee did. Not sure.
I'm not 100% sure, but like I said, this one.
It's me. That's who I have.
This is your going with, Jill? This is your pick right here?
That's mine. Collins, because Hoik was her second round pick. Well, because Chance.
Third round pick. Yeah, third round pick.
So her first actual pick after Mike and Chance.
That's what I thought too. But I went and looked. He's never won a match.
So Leo's saying no. Oh, Leo's saying not Kalinowski. Interesting.
I'm with Leo.
You know Kalinowski?
I think that Kalinowski is, because we don't know when this number one contender / title match is with Corruption and Founding Fathers, right? I have a feeling that after he makes his run on IG, that he may sit back out of the singles and either wait for that team's match or for the team's tournament. I don't. So I am going Adam Collins lock. Obviously, I'm gonna go Chance. I'm gonna go Mark Hoik, and then I'm gonna go Claudia Dolph as well. I don't know Marisol McKee and Rick Ramos. I've never seen them play. I don't know their names, so I can't decide on them. I would love to throw Dewberry in this equation, but he fits better in a team's atmosphere, even though he's he looks like he's like on a death sentence playing with Mark Hoyk. So I'm going Collins, Ellison, Dolph, and Mark Hoyk for corruption. I'm going to leave off Kalinowski.
I wanted to pick Hoyk, but he's never won. Ever.
Never. Yeah.
So I was like, but like you said, she did pick him high. So it's that they were the heart. I sat there for them the longest was this team. So, yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Quirky Mercs here. And at this moment in time, right now confirmed is Perry Nemiroff. So they also have one player confirmed. Which
she is?
Reese, she is confirmed.
I thought Bibbs was the only one that was confirmed.
They are both confirmed. I'm pretty sure. You are correct. Yeah, Bibbs is confirmed and Perry are both confirmed. So they only have 2 spots
I didn't hear
left.
Perry's. Okay, sweet.
Yes.
So
they are 2 spots left. Jill, I'll start with you. Who are those 2 remaining Mercs that you're going to send to this tournament?
So it's Perry, Bibiani. I'm going to go Brendan Meyer and Tim Franco. Are going to be mine.
I would have to agree with you. I think that you're going to leave the real rejects off just because they're running IG and save them from the team's tourney.
Yeah.
I agree.
We're not putting in Kevin Smith.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm definitely putting Kevin Smith in over Tim Franco.
I see. I was reading that as Kevin Smets for some reason. I did the mistake.
If Christian can get a confirmation that his schedule is open for a tournament style, I will go Kevin Smith over Tim Franco.
And that's why I'm going Tim, because I don't know if Kevin Smith can do a full tournament.
With you.
So if he can, I would say Kevin Smith. But the likelihood of him being available for a full tournament style, I don't know. But they're also not filming anything right now because everyone is in lockdown. So, I would. Kevin Smith and Tim for me are.
Leo, Brian, and Cinefan all have the same 3. And then an interesting point here. What about Haley Fouch? Haley Fouch could be a little bit of a wild card in a singles tournament, right? She matches up against someone very well in the bracket. Maybe she's in a play-in match. She gets a couple points. That could be a little bit of a steal. And we've seen Coy right now with the IG tourney making steal moves, putting the real rejects in that tournament. Maybe Haley Fouch is that kind of move for him.
I do like Haley Fouch a lot too. And everyone's only guaranteed 4. Can there be more?
Nope, just 4. Just 4.
Okay, darn, I tried. I think I'm still sticking with my Perry, Tim, Bibbs.
I will say this. What Brian just said.
Well, yeah, so we had it here first. Save him for a live event.
Yes.
Save him for a live event. Yep. And then, good point here, Haley for teams instead, which is interesting.
My only thought process is, though, if you got him, you picked him up. I don't know. Maybe I think more sportsy where it's like you use him or you lose him. You just wasted a spot. So I don't know. It's dang. Franco
I saw the Tim Franco one.
Franco. That's why I Tim Franco for me. I'm pretty confident in that choice. Tim Franco is a beast of a player.
I'll lock in the kid, Bibbs, Perry, and Tim Franco. I'll lock in those 4.
Fine.
Yeah.
That's mine.
Yeah, that's coin toss.
All right, let's get to the rock stars. And at this moment in time, if I'm not mistaken,
Alex Damon's playing every single person.
Nobody is confirmed for Roxy at this moment in time, but I think it's safe to say that at least the odd couple is.
Yeah, I would say odd couple is at least a safe bet.
So that is Mr. Mark Andreyko and Jeff Snyder. Then it's a toss-up, really, because you do have a couple players that can really step in there, right? Stacey Howard, I feel like, is a must. That you have to throw her in there. And then I don't know. You have someone like an Adam Gertler who can step up, or a Jim Vejvoda who could be better in singles than he was in a Star Wars match. I think
too hot on the teams with. He wasn't too hot with Hybon when they did the team match.
But he did do well on his own with something like a biopics category, which he did grab in that match. And I don't know much about David Del Rio. Chris Jericho probably saving for a live event, possibly or some kind of match with Kevin
Chris
Smith.
Jericho's in a live event, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I will say Snyder and Draco, Howard, and Vejvoda. Those are the 4 that I'll go with.
I have those 3.
Mhm.
I put down Jericho, but if we're actually saving, I mean, it sounds like a lot of people.
Oh, bye.
Whoa! Just lost Brian.
Oh no!
Yeah, I mean, so Cinefan here, and Leo are on the same page.
Let me get back.
Brian is on the same page. So it seems like
I'm not on the
everybody
same
seems to
page.
be going with these 4 for the Rockstar.
Not me. I'm not.
Yeah, that Adam Gertler's calling my name. So if Jericho doesn't play, I'm gonna go with that way.
Jill, who do you got?
I have the Odd Couple, Stacey Howard and David Del Rio.
See, I don't know much about David Del Rio, so I don't know. I don't know what he.
I saw Del Rio his first match in studio, and I saw champion quality in that kid.
Ooh, okay.
He really impressed me. So I'm Odd Couple Howard and David Del Rio for Rockstar.
So he's played some good people.
David Del Rio.
Yeah, he's 1-2, but his win is against Whitney Seibold, but his losses are to Liz Shannon Miller and Paul Preston.
Yeah, his losses are, and it was not like by KO or TKO. Like
that might make more sense. Vejvoda just played in the tournament, right? We haven't seen Del Rio, and you're going to throw 3 people we know plus someone we haven't seen. That might make more sense for Roxy than throwing Vejvoda in there.
Yeah, I mean,
good call. That's a good call.
Yeah, If that's and it just popped up on my thing. He is in the Perfect Round Club too.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right. Well,
okay. So yeah,
hey, I like it.
I will say for what Rockstars haven't been like, oh, amazing. She's set up pretty well for singles. I will say that.
And teams.
Yes, and teams.
And we'll get to another faction that's very similar as well.
Yeah, so maybe we haven't seen the last of the Rockstars, because if you're throwing out names like on Draco, Howard, Snyder, like those are some freaking solid names. So yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to Swag here. And obviously a team that's full of IG and Star Wars players here, but there's a couple choices we can do for singles. Brian, I'll start with you. Who are the 4 that you have locked down outside of Liz Shannon Miller, because she is the confirmed player so far?
Oh, she is? I didn't have her, but she was literally okay.
She's confirmed.
I didn't know she was, but I literally wrote her first because she's a monster.
She's great. Yeah.
Yeah, she's confirmed.
Okay, sweet. I like that. Perfect.
Cool.
Yeah. So I have Paul Yama, Lon Harrison. I'm gonna go Makuga.
I'm thinking the same thing.
I would agree, because I don't think RB3 is going to be able to study. He's doing a lot of different things, right? With singles, that's a hard thing to do. Yes, he is. Yeah, he's IG. Ace obviously is IG in Star Wars. Chandru, IG. Adam, IG. And so there's only a few. Frank Moran, I don't know a lot about. I know I've seen him before, but I feel like you throw a Makuga in there and have a little fun, see what he's capable of. It might be a fun little match.
You just need to throw in that one fun player where you don't know what's going to happen with them. So, and
I will say this. I don't know if Shannon plays that game or if we play that narrative. This might be where you see your Makuga Dewberry match.
That would be.
It's true.
But I mean,
yeah,
it could end up being waste of players. So you just don't know how that one would work. But dude, give me that narrative of Makuga going up against Dewberry. Dewberry's turned evil. Makuga needs him to come back to the it's too perfect not to have.
I think those would be my choices too. Paul, Lon, Liz, and Makuga.
I'm with you. I think all four of us agree on that one.
Yeah.
All right, final faction here, and the faction that needs it the most. And so, again, just like the Finstock Exchange, we don't know what the deal is with Ethan Irwin, whether he'll be able to play or not, playing in a number one contention match. If he does get that title shot, he's obviously going to be out of the equation. But just excluding that for this conversation, being that they're in last place, I think this is the one faction that can't do the let's throw some new players out there. They need to throw their heavyweights. Andrew Guy, Ethan Irwin, Janine, and I think Doug Benson might be thrown in there because he seems like a guy that might know his stuff.
Yeah, that would be my choices too. Those would be mine. A couple beers in as well. I think he's watching that Century.
I will say to what Sean said, this plays too. You could waste that storyline by throwing it online.
Yeah.
Because
you might not have a choice though.
Yeah.
Because what happens with the redraft next year if that happens?
Exactly. So I mean, that storyline is too good to pass up on.
And you can't, even if it's, he plays to the crowd, people just love seeing Makuga. You know, it just doesn't matter if it's him in front of a crowd or him on his computer.
Here's an interesting point. That's interesting. I didn't catch that.
That changes mine.
If that's the case, I'm going to have to change that as well. And that would throw Andrew Guy, Doug Benson, Ethan Irwin, and I don't know much about Robert Montano or Sabina Graves. I know we've seen a little bit of, but maybe a Matt Atchity?
I'd say Matt Atchity.
Yeah, maybe a Matt Atchity.
Too. The other one to me is I've heard Sabina's name a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if you're going to play it, if one team is going to actually play the game, play their we need to throw heavyweights, it's this team. But then again, I don't know jack crap about her. She might be, she might come out here and kick people in the face for all I know. So
Andrew Guy, interesting.
You need to have you can't have a singles tournament without. If you're not going to have Ben Bateman, you need Andrew Guy.
Yeah, I don't
you need to have Andrew Guy in there. Robert Montano.
Yeah.
I'm seeing some people say Cameron, and I know Cameron. Cameron is in the studio every taping, but I don't know what he knows. Although he would be really interesting to see play.
This one is, again, one of those ones like a Finstock, like a, I don't know, Corruption. We don't know because of their title matches or first round contenders. So that could obviously change things. If Ethan Irwin's capable of playing, I don't think there's anybody that's going to say he's not going to be in it.
Yeah. If he is able to play, it would be dumb of them not to put him in.
Exactly.
And so there's also another thing that we hadn't talked about, but Andrew Guy and Mike Kanowski are supposed to play in a singles.
Right.
And so that could also play into this as well, which means
this could be a singles match.
Yeah, so it'll be very interesting. And again, we don't have official word or confirmation on what the deal is with number one contenders playing and all that type of stuff. If they can't play, that leaves a lot of people off this tournament. Roca, Irwin, Kalinowski, Andrew Guy,
point too.
Oh, interesting.
I think at this point,
I don't think it's an option. I think at this point, it's you're either playing or you're not going to play this season.
Yeah, it's. I mean, he's looking at either. Because let's be honest, this is the rest of the year is probably going to be played out online.
I would be stunned if we go back to studio this year.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's coming down to if you don't want to play online, probably not going to play. It's funny because I kind of thought that's when we were talking Rockstars that Snyder might not want to do it online.
Snyder also dropped out of social media. He made a post.
Yeah.
He's stepping away from Twitter for a bit, so that could also.
Yeah. So I don't know. that team, like I said, is another one where you don't know, but if they want to win, they're gonna have to throw their heavy hitters.
Really curious to see what happens, because with these teams, you don't know who they're gonna put out there. You don't know what's gonna happen. And
well, here's N7 saying that Shannon said that every member of her team would compete, and that was her goal. So that would mean 3 unknown players and Chance.
Knowing Shannon, I could definitely see her putting out some unknowns.
Yeah,
and especially if they make the run in IG, like they have the possibility to.
Yes.
You know, they might have a little bit of a cushion to do so, which could be interesting.
If anyone's in the position to do something like that, it's her team, though.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah,
there's some teams that really definitely can roll the dice on some players. There's some where you just need to make the decision to put your 1, 2, 3, and 4 top players in, and there's really no other option. So
agreed.
What happens? I'm very excited. I can't wait for it to start. When I want to hear these announcements as to when.
They're slowly trickling out. And I'm sure that I have a feeling it's all going to come crashing in once the Star Wars tournament is over. Yeah. You know, focus on the singles a little bit more. But we seem to be getting small announcements every day.
Right after the Star Wars match, it's gonna be like, by the way, singles tournament.
Thursday and Friday, you're gonna have probably a good chunk of who's gonna be in it. I'll say.
I agree
with that. Mm-hmm.
I agree. All right, well, there it is. This week's A Certain Point of View. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Our numbers grew as the show went on, and so everyone in the chat watching, thank you so much for hanging out with us and talking the singles bracket and who we think is going to be involved, breaking down matches. And again, if you missed the beginning of the show, the announcement that is coming is that we are going to be joined by another co-host on the show, and that'll be on next week's episode. And you'll see a little bit of teases here and there on Twitter. So follow us at Schmoedown POV. So this is this week's show. Jill, where can everybody find you online?
I'm on Instagram and Twitter, Jilly Marie, 2 Y's, 2 E's.
Brian?
Instagram, Twitter, Biavalcino, and
Instagram, Twitter as well. Qui-Gon Jake, that's with 2 N's. That's because somebody else took it from me before I grabbed it. As far as where you can find us, at Schmoedown POV on Twitter. We are there. You guys can find us on every single podcast platform that's available if you listen to audio, if that's more your flavor. And so, so for A Certain Point of View, for Jill, Brian, myself, thank you for joining us. And we will see you guys next week.